Hey y'all, it's Rick here with Uncommon Communion. And yes, I am recording a video instead of a written post again. I know. And last night at this time, I promised that I would not do this. What is it that they say about the best laid plans of mice and men, right? Or if you want to make God laugh, that line. Anyway, I will explain after we begin, as we always begin, by remembering and recalling and celebrating and honoring the true presence that is always with us. Let us remember we are always and everywhere in the holy presence of God and each other. Well, I knew that this evening was going to bring me home a little bit late. I, on Tuesdays, usually go to the Whole Heart Tuesdays at the coffee shop, which I have talked about multiple times here. This Tuesday, we didn't meet, little summer break. And instead, I decided I was going to go see a film that has been highly recommended to me, Superman. Yeah, Superman. And Tuesdays at the favorite movie theater in town that I love to go to, it's $6. Can you believe that, y'all? $6. I mean, it used to be $5, but inflation, right? $6. Anyway, so I saw the opportunity and I went, and I knew I was going to be coming home late. I figured I was going to talk about Superman in a video and then also have time to do a post. Well, it turned out as I was leaving the movie theater about 9:30, 9:45, I got a call from someone I have not spoken to in a bit, somebody that I've known for a long time as a man, a little bit younger than me, but someone I know as a man, and was honored and touched and moved when this person said to me, "Can I tell you a secret? Can I share something that very few other people know?" I said, "Yes, thank you for trusting me." And they shared with me that they are a woman. They came out to me as a trans woman. And it was really remarkable because, again, I've known this person for a while and I didn't suspect this. And the reason that I did not suspect this is because she has been living a double life for a long time. And once she shared her new name with me and told me about this life that she is living, shared some photos, which was cool. Once this came through, I was really able to hear how much of a double life she had been living for many years. And to hear how hard and painful that was, because this woman knew this about herself when she was just a teenager, and has been years, decades in coming to terms living this out. And she is only beginning to share with people who know her, who have known her. And was really, really an honor and just a great grace to be able to support her and to tell her, that I'm here for her. And, it is, for me, it was interesting because she was talking about the freedom that she has now to be herself. And still people she can't tell. And that was, part of the story too, as she, shared that with me. And it reminded me of how important my coming out, if you will, not as a LGBTQ plus person myself, but as a long, deep, passionate ally. And when I was teaching in Catholic schools, when I was teaching religion, theology, I couldn't do that. I could care for and support the queer kids that, I knew of and who, came to me, but I couldn't do it openly. I couldn't do it directly, right? Now I can. I can put that flag behind me. That every time I look at that flag on my wall and see it in my, video reflection here, I am deeply moved because I've reached a point in my life by the grace of God. And it's been a journey, continues to be. But I work for an agency, I go to a church, I associate with people where I can honor not just, the queer people, and I have many queer friends, but the trans people. And I think I've shared with you, I have a trans sibling, I have a trans daughter, I have a trans daughter in law, and now I have this trans friend. And, that's amazing. And it is such an honor and such a grace. So I took that phone call, did not expect it to be as long as it was, but it was a very rich conversation and I think an important one. But it did put me late. So I'm not going to make any promises about tomorrow's writing, except to say that I want to do it. I hope to do it. I plan to do it, but we will see because, this is important to me and I appreciate your reading this and listening to this and sharing this. But other things in my life take precedence over this. And, when I have to modify or even miss, I haven't missed a lot, but when I have to, I know that I can and I will. So Superman, wow. Where to start with this? I'm not going to give any spoilers, so I'm not going to, give anything away. I think what was most interesting to me, and again, I saw this because I'd heard good things about it. I actually heard some mixed things, and I don't mean mixed as in like the radical right, the MAGAites that were just really bent out of shape, and I know why, and I'll tell you why here in a moment. But just not great reviews. But the one review that mattered the most was my trans daughter, and she, after seeing it, texted me, just gushing about it. And when I saw her for her graduation, just a few days ago, we talked a little bit about it, and it's clear that her thumbs up, her two thumbs up, means a lot because this is a kiddo who I've gone to see movies with a lot. That was kind of a thing we did when she was still at home and younger, and she would be pretty critical. Always had thoughtful, insightful things to say, but to hear her describe Superman in the way that she did, especially after the mess of the Superman films that have come before, really made me want to go see it. So I did, and I'm glad I did. Here's my observation. I had heard going into it about these MAGAites, these cult members getting bent out of shape about two things that are at the heart of the Superman story from the beginning, right? That Superman is an immigrant. He is from another place. He is an alien, right? And also that the key villain, Lex Luthor, is a technocrat, right? And even though early on in the series and in the myth, the story of Superman, it wasn't clear that Luthor was a techie, but now clearly that's what he is in the film. And it was kind of funny because I just sort of thought like, well, the filmmaker, just put these two inherent, parts of the story and just putting those in there, offended and enraged and concerned all of these, MAGAites. But the filmmaker did more than that. I mean, the filmmaker really leaned into that. And, the conflict at the heart of the movie, and I guess this is a little bit of a spoiler, has to do with Superman being an alien. And Luthor, who is very much in the mode of, the tech wonder boy genius, and, he's got all kinds of tech and he's doing all this dangerous stuff with tech. And he, very clearly set Superman up. And the attack is that Superman is an alien who does not care about Earth, who wants to dominate Earth, who wants to suppress Earth, and so on and so forth. When it's Luthor himself, obviously, that wants to do those things. So it was a good film. I loved the fact that the actors, at least to me, were not familiar, that they were unknown. I thought that was pretty cool. I really liked the action. There was a lot of action, and the movie moved. The movie moved, and the music was really good. They used variations of the original Superman theme. The Christopher Reeves. I think it was like 1978 or something like that. But the dun 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 dun, right? That was very much kind of the musical theme, and I was really glad to see it. I was very glad to see it, and it seems like they might, maybe they're setting up for a sequel. I will say this: one of my favorite parts, and the theater was full. I mean, it was $6, and the movie's going away soon from the theater, so people like myself were trying to get to see it. But the use of crypto or Krypton, I guess is the dog. Crypto is the currency. Krypton is the dog. Um, was really great. I mean, it was a very funny thing because not to give too much away, but Krypton, excuse me, is really he's untrained, he's undisciplined, and he's very dog. There's this one scene where he's being punished, let's say, and it's a very dog way that he's being punished, and I just found that so cute. And then at the very end, his owner shows up, which in the series is Supergirl. So we get a cameo at the very end of Supergirl. So there were just some really nice touches, and again, I think a really good film, and I'm glad that I saw it. And it really fits with the conversation, that I had with this friend, because at heart of Superman was his identity. Who am I? Because he has two sets of parents, right? Which am I? Is son of Krypton or son of son of Earth, right? And that's really kind of at the heart of the film. And my friend sharing this with me was very much that same thing. This identity, wrestling with this identity, and knowing who they are, but not being able to live that, and literally having a disguise. My friend was telling me about the times that she put on boys' clothing, men's clothing, because she had to. She had to wear this mask, right? Even recently. So I close a long day, a full day, another good day. I close with a Meister Eckhart prayer. I know I haven't read from him in a bit, but I think tonight is a good night to read from him. And here's what we have. He says, "Let me seek you in the darkness of my silence, and find you in the silence of your light, which is love shining like the sun, flowing like the river, and joying like the heart." I think what struck me about that prayer is joying, right? We talk about enjoying, and we talk about love, and we talk about loving, right? So why can't we say joy and joying? I like that, or we've got play and playing, right? With some words we just put an ing on. So why can't we do that with joy? So I hope that you are finding ways to be joying tomorrow, Wednesday. And I hope that I can be back with you with a written post for Thursday, which would be my music post. Got some good tunes queued up for you. Nevertheless, though, I appreciate your watching. Blessing and good. Be gentle. Be well.